welcome back to Whisky Wednesday. Another Wednesday, another whisky review with me, Joe. So this week, yet again, like my Johnny Walker and Chivas Regal comparison, I'm doing a comparison review, but this time I'm comparing 3 different whiskies. Now this is the brand new reference series by Master of Malt, which has been out a couple of months now. Thank you very much to the guys at Master of Malt for sending me these. I've been looking forward to kind of getting down and reviewing them. Now the idea behind the reference series, I'm terribly excited about it. It's basically they're taking 3 whiskies, 3 blended malt whiskies, and they're doing different things to them. So basically the idea is you can compare and contrast kind of production techniques. So all these 3 are blended malt whiskies, but they use different proportions of the whiskey. So we've got reference number 1, which has, got to get this right again, it's 83% young, kind of vibrant, youthful blended malt, 9% of a slightly older blended malt, 4% of, so I've got this written down just over the camera because it's impossible to remember all of them. 4% of the old single malt and 4% of the very old single malt. So that's number 1. Pour a little bit more of that out. I'm saving the rest of it for a good friend of mine. Reference number 2, which is this one. I've got to remember which ones they are. It's number 1. So number 2 contains 67% of the youthful, vibrant blended malt, contains 13% of the slightly older, more complex blended malt, spicier, 10% of the old single malt, and 10% of the very old single malt. Number 3, finally, is 36% of the young blended malt, young vibrant blended malt, 10% of this slightly older, slightly more complex, spicier blended malt, 19% of the old single malt, and 35% of the very old single malt. All the obviously the information is available on the Master of Malt website, so you should check it out. I've obviously got a glass of water to refresh my palate, keep me hydrated while I go through the kind of tasting notes. So yeah, it's kind of geeky in terms of like comparing and contrasting production methods. And what they'll do in the future when they release the kind of new batches, they'll take, say for instance, reference series 1 and they do like 1.2. So they'll take that and then add caramel colouring to it. So you can go back to the original and then go back to the new one with caramel colouring, taste it, nose it, and see if caramel colouring makes any difference. They then might take, number 3 and make it heavily peated. So you can tell the difference between the original and what they've done. It's the first time anyone's ever done anything like this and kind of, released it. Because obviously distilleries do it all the time, but, you never get to taste it because, obviously the marketing for distilleries and kind of distributors costs so much to do anything like that. They have to make sure it's worth their while, but, for an independent company you can do this sort of stuff. So, they're all bottled at 47.5%, I believe. 47.5, 47.5 and 47.5, yes. So let's go for the first one. This is number 1. This is the one that's got the most of the kind of young, youthful, blended malt. Let's give it a nose. It's kind of lovely, kind of straw-like colour with a little bit of kind of that slightly green touch. Now on the nose, you might notice, by the way, my location has changed. I moved back to Birmingham from Manchester. Start a new job. On the nose, you can tell straight away it's quite fresh. It's light, kind of herbal. I'm getting a kind of slightly star anise, kind of anisey, but star anise, so kind of fresher. Getting a kind of distinct appley note, Granny Smith apples. It's quite delicate. It's also quite floral and quite perfumed. Look at how maybe kind of dandelions, petals, and kind of fresh virgin petals. It's nice, right. I'm going to do nose, 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 and then taste, taste, taste. Yeah, it's kind of just that fresh, kind of summery, grassy. And there's a distinct waxy note as well. Let's look up there. Number 2. So this is the one that's got just a slightly bit of older stock. So only 67% of the youthful, vibrant blended malt compared to 83, number 1. And it's got 10% of each of the older single malts as well. So let's give us a nose, number 2. Okay, straight away. Oh, by the way, you can reset your nose by just smelling your hand, or smell some like coffee beans as well. That works. So number 2. Definitely kind of juicier. It's kind of distinctly juicier than the first one. Getting kind of richer flavours. I'm getting ginger cake, spicy marmalade. I'm getting much more sherry as well. Kind of sweet Oloroso. And almost like a rich berry cheesecake. So it's got a kind of a distinct creaminess about it. Yeah, kind of compared to that, that's light, that's fresh, kind of not waxy. Yeah, sorry, waxy, floral, perfumed. This is rich, spicy, juicy, fruitier. Okay, let's move on to the third one, which only contains 36% of that youthful, vibrant blended malt, and then 35% of the very, very old single malt. So reset my nose. Wow, no, this is definitely different. So this is blackcurrant, sweet porter, so like porter, stout, that kind of beer. Lots and lots of kind of dark ginger cake, malt loaf, lots and lots of oak, so kind of sweet wood char, vanilla pods, butter, dark brown sugar, rich. So it's amazing. It's like light, juicy, and then just really, really rich and deep, complex flavours. Okay, let's give number 1 a try. Number 1's lovely, kind of grassy, it's light. Again, that kind of waxy note comes through, that slight herbal tablet note comes through again. It's got kind of a slight kind of wininess, almost like kind of champagne, that kind of effervescent kind of fizziness to it. Let's have another try. On the finish, it's quite short, but you get a kind of slight dry sherry note. So there is that kind of distinct sherry note that does come through a little bit. It's fresh, it's summery, a little bit of that spiciness, which kind of brings it up a little bit, brings it to life. And obviously the higher strength helps as well, the 47.5 ABV. That's kind of spicy, got that little bit of alcohol burn that comes through, which is lovely, which balances it out. Really good. I want to do marks at the very end. So moving on to number 2, let me just have a glass of H2O, commonly known as water. You know, keep the palate fresh. What you can do as well to keep your palate fresh between rounds is eat a little chunk of at least 80% dark chocolate. I'm not doing it now because it'll take too much time, but yeah, that really works because it neutralises all the fat in your mouth. So, number 2. Okay, number 2, as the nose suggests, I'm getting a much richer experience than the first one. It's dark chocolate. There's some fig notes coming through. A distinct maltiness, that kind of rich malt. Fruit juice, specifically pomegranate, so it really reminds me of pomegranate juice. Or I don't know if that's because I was just drinking a cocktail with pomegranate juice in it the other day. But yeah, pomegranate juice, definitely. There's a slight kind of spiced rum-like note coming through. Let's give it one more try. Again, I get the herbal note that I get from this. So it's got that kind of herbal thing going on. That kind of sweetly spiced malt comes through on the finish. And a tiny, tiny little bit of saltiness again. Really good. It's a cracking kind of rich, just fruity dram. Could easily drink both of those kind of on a daily basis, you know, if you really wanted to. Moving on to number 3. Again, glass of the old H2O. Refresh the palate. Moving on to number 3. Feels like I'm doing a weather report. Moving to the northeast of England and going down to the minute. Right, number 3. So this has got the least amount of young whiskey in it and more of the very, very old single malt, and with more of that old single malt as well. So, okay, you can definitely tell there's some very old single malts in there. Fantastic kind of rich coating mouthfeel. I'm getting rich toffee, a hell of a lot of oak, so that kind of real buttery vanilla. I'm getting sherry and a sweet Oloroso, maybe a hint of PX coming through, but I'm not sure. But I'd say it's definitely sweet Oloroso. It reminds me of kind of rich fruit and nut toffee. I'm getting spiced rum. Again, that kind of Jamaican ginger cake comes through, but it's kind of hot, it's spicy, it's warm, it's unctuous. Let's have one more taste. And finally, that kind of nuttiness comes through, walnuts and figs and dates. And on the finish, it's really long, so I can still taste it. It's sweet, really buttery, really oaky. And I get that lovely kind of treacle coating, that porter-like thickness to it. Fantastic, really good. And it's interesting to see that you can see that they're kind of made up of the same, you know, whiskies. And that is the beauty of blended whiskey. You know, you've got so much scope to play around with different proportions, and I'm really looking forward to the next series and see what they do with, you know, reference 1. I'd love to try that, but with caramel added, to see if caramel actually makes a difference to the taste and the actual feel of the whiskey. I'd love to try that, but heavily peated as well. So I think it's a really, really clever, really geeky idea. I love it. I absolutely love it. Score-wise, hard to score really. This one is about £100, £105 a bottle. This one is 53-ish, and this one is about 35, 36-ish. So score-wise, they're all 3 of them are really, really good, solid whiskies. Purely on taste, I go for 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and 9 out of 10. If that was because you pay for half bottles as well. So, you know, it's an expensive half bottle, but there are some very old whiskies in this one. So yeah, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and 9 out of 10. That's just purely based on the taste. This one's obviously quite expensive, so if I was kind of judging it on price as well, as I normally do, as I usually do, I might give it like an 8, because it's an expensive whiskey. But yeah, cracking little set. Again, thank you so much to the guys at Master Malt for sending those. You get the double thumbs up from me. I don't give the double thumbs up that often, but I am doing today. Thank you so much. Check out the reference series. Look forward to the next lot. Please comment if you've had the chance to try these. Leave me a comment in the comment box below. You guys know what to do. You've been commenting on my videos now for ages. I think this is my 91st video. I've got a very, very special video coming up for my 100th video. I'll let you guys know soon on Twitter. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching, and please share the video. Goodbye.